My name is Kara, and your name is?
I'm Nick. So I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and you're from here.
I'm from here.
More or less.
More or less, yeah.
I went to Missouri State University. She went to CU Denver. I am a revenue specialist at a mobile home community in the corporate office. I basically just work with Excel spreadsheets for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's a ton of fun, and it's super exciting, and I never fall asleep at my desk.
And I'm currently working as a writing consultant for CU Denver, and I'm also getting my degree in clinical mental health counseling at Denver Seminary.
When we first moved here, we were looking for a church where we could grow in the gospel, grow in community, be able to give, and then be able to serve. Then when we came here, about the 4th or 5th week we lived here, and immediately we had 5, if not 6 people come up to us when we walked in the front doors going, "Hey, you're new. Who are you?" Which was a completely other side, 180 from what it was at some other churches. To be able to walk in and want people to know you and feel like you're being known. We knew coming in after the first week that, the gospel was really strong here and the teachings were really valid and pulled straight from the gospel, which we loved. Groups were being, I don't know if advertised is the right word, but they were being shown and broadcasted at the church, so I know that community was an important part. The first whole sermon series we went through was First to the Lord and how to give. And me growing up in an ultra-conservative where money is almost coveted and you can't spend it and it's yours kind of environment, and to be able to come to a church where that's the first whole sermon series, I was like, okay, God's saying something to me. And then after 5 or 6 weeks, there was a call for drummers to be being pulled into serving, and I immediately just looked up and okay, that's amazing, thank you. And all 4 of our prayers were answered immediately. It was a call for me, especially because I knew that I had made not only the right decision to come to this church, but I made the right decision to come to Denver because it gave me a sense of belonging when all those prayers were answered.
I grew up in a household where my parents would skip the money sermons. So when we got to the church and you were like, we're going to do this First to the Lord series about generosity, the first instinct in me was like, oh gosh, I was not looking forward to it because my whole life, my dad specifically, but he would always be like, oh, they're talking about money again. And I didn't realize how ingrained those opinions were in my head as we went through the sermon series. But then as we did that, slowly I started to change my mind and okay, this is important. We need to talk about this. It's important to know how our money is impacting the church and how it impacts our financial life. And we wanted to give it. The whole sermon series, I remember praying, Lord, just open my heart to this and open up my capacity to give and to care about the money sermon.
For me, growing up in a family where I know giving happened, but it was very secretive almost in both the giving and how much and kind of what that all looked like. I didn't really know what giving looked like within my own family, so how was I supposed to know what it looked like for me as an adult? And so being able to kind of go through that series and kind of know that giving looks differently to everybody, that it's not supposed to be the same with everybody because everybody's got a different situation, was really, really reassuring to me that any kind of giving was, good for my relationship with the Lord, especially coming from a place where I have never given before because I just assumed that, I've earned this money, it's my money. Why would I give that away? But it's not my money, it's the Lord's money. And that was huge for me to learn.
I remember when we were going through that sermon series with our fellowship group, at the very beginning, watching other couples and other people in our group wrestle with it just as we were. It was really impactful for me because I knew we weren't alone in our wrestling.
Knowing that
we got to grow together as a group with that.
Knowing that someone else, even in our group, was struggling and kind of working through this within our hearts the same way we were, was reassuring that we weren't alone in the struggle of what it may look like, especially for someone like me who was a first-time giver in any capacity coming into First to the Lord.
I think our First to the Lord commitment represents, I think every month it's a little bit of dying to ourselves. It's money that sure we could use, but we don't need it, and other people need it. The church needs it to further ministry, community, and all of the wonderful things that this church does. And so every month when we're like, oh, the First to Lord money's been paid, I'm like, it's almost a relief. It represents us contributing to the kingdom, and it represents us not coveting that for ourselves, which was something that I had done for so long. And it's like, oh yeah, that it's gone. Like, we don't have to think about it. We don't have to worry about it. And it's been so nice just knowing that that is going away and it's not ours. So we're gonna give it.
I'm really excited for the church to have a new plant in North Denver. I think it's going to be a really cool thing. I'm really excited to be able to spread the gospel through this church, particularly in a different site. I think it's going to be a really cool thing to get as many people in Denver as we can to reach across the wide radius of Denver that we have.
That's also what I'm excited about. Because this church feels so much like home, to have that replicated in North Denver for families who right now have to commute, or even families who haven't found a church that they feel connected to, for other people up there to have the opportunity that we did, to just feel so loved stepping into the doors. I'm really excited about how our money is contributing to that.